there was a sound bite, a sentence that got said by Dana White, and I will go right quick to the old source, which is
We cite our sources around here.
yeah, hey, nothing but the best for the Sparring Partners audience or thoroughness, right? Um, from MMAJunkie.com, Dana White calls Jon Jones, Israel Adesanya the fight to make after their Twitter war, which ended in Adesanya evoking the name of Jon Jones's late mother.
Mm-hmm.
And here I'll read what Dana White had to say about the matchup. It doesn't depend on what I want. It depends on what they want. Adesanya is a champ. He's really coming into his own, and you can tell he knows this is his house, and he comes and acts like it. I think he wants the winner of Whitaker and Cannonier, and then we'll see what happens after that. So, with that quote, when I read that quote, at first you read the headline, "Fight to Make, Jones Adesanya," and it got me really worried that we were just about to go totally off the rails, abandon Cannonier, and just go straight for a super fight. But it sounds like Dana White is gonna tempt the MMA gods on this one and let each fighter kind of do what they want to do in the meantime. What are your thoughts on that and what Dana White had to say about the fight?
There is a reason why he brought it up, though, and the reason is that they're headed in two different directions. Once Jon goes up to heavyweight, you've lost the Izzy fight, because you have to make the Izzy fight against Jon while Jon is still within the range of being 205 pounds, or at least being able to cut back to light heavyweight to do the fight, right? As soon as Jon's like, all right, this is it, I'm packing on muscle, I'm going up to the 240s, I'm going for heavyweight, it gets real hard to make that Izzy fight, because even if Izzy goes up to 205, big gap there. The size and muscle gap's just going to be big. So I feel like the UFC's being like, okay, Jon's about to head up. He's already dropped the belt, so it's not really clogging anything up. We could do just a one-off. It's a main event. Izzy versus Jon, still going to be huge, even if there's no belt involved. And then regardless, win or lose, Jon doesn't really lose any kind of stock. Boom, he goes up to heavyweight after that, can go after the heavyweight belt. Then while that's happening, you get Stipe and Ngannou 2 out of the way. Yeah, I don't know. That'd be something. I'm still generally opposed to it, probably. I'd rather see, if Cannonier obliterates Whitaker, I'd rather see Cannonier take on Izzy. But I can't lie. I mean, Izzy and Jon have been going at each other's neck for like all week, just in quarantine. Izzy don't give a goddamn. He's just going after him. And it'd be cool. It'd be a cool fight,
Yeah, I'm getting warmer to it. I remember when I first heard about it, I just thought, why?
Yeah.
Like what for what? It's one of those things where it's really important how you frame it. And fighters have spoken about this in the past, where it's very important for the lighter fighter to call out the heavier fighter, because if it's the inverse of that, the bigger fighter just looks like a bully. And that's
Yeah.
kind of how it felt the whole time about Jones and Adesanya, because Jones has been talking about this since Adesanya. Pretty sure before Adesanya even had a belt.
Mm-hmm.
They've been talking about this fight, and I'm getting warmer to it, but at the same time, they are heading in different directions, and this isn't one of those. It hasn't built up to one of those fights where I have to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we never saw that fight, it wouldn't feel to me like something that was truly lost, because the whole thing feels forced to begin with. Um, the question has never been, can Jones deal with a smaller man?
Right.
That's
Like
that's never.
how many
Yeah,
middleweights did he defend the light heavyweight belt against? Like so many.
I mean, even then, even if you just talk about 205ers, the question has never been, yeah, can Jones handle a middleweight moving up and like for a man who is arguably the greatest of all time, it's not a particularly interesting fight to like further his
Stylistically, no.
from here on out, right? The moves of Jon, and this is kind of what Jon has done to himself through the way he's steered his career and by giving up the belt and what have you. But at this point in Jones's career, he needs to make sure that his fights, each and every fight, builds a legacy. And as special and unique as Adesanya is, he is a two-time defending champion.
Mm-hmm.
He is not in. While some may look on and say, "Wow, he might be the best to ever do it at middleweight," his resume doesn't say that. So to rush this fight to take on Jones, I just don't get it. I don't know. I don't know. I If fights had no consequences, then yeah, do it. But anything can happen in a fight, and by doing this fight, especially on the Izzy side, I'm not even saying Izzy would lose, but the risk in a fight like that to their physical health, I don't think is worth it to derail all of the rest of the things that are going on for these two men individually right now.
Yeah.
So that's why I really I don't know, man. I just want to slow the brakes on this because it's if we never got to see it, I wouldn't put it up there with a lost fight like GSP Silva.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't. But I mean, hey, I'll watch it. I watch it. I mean, I watched UFC Fight Night home Aldana. I will watch the fight,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm just not super excited for it.
Yeah. No, I'd rather see Jon go on up to heavyweight. It'd be different if Jon still had the light heavyweight belt and Izzy had, like, if Jon had just knocked out Reyes or Blachowicz, whatever, and he had just defended the belt and Izzy had just defended the belt and neither one of them had clear number one contenders, and Jon was clearly like, all right, I'm going to do this one last fight against Izzy and then I'm going up to heavyweight. Cool. But other than in the circumstances we're in now, Jon doesn't have a belt. Like, nobody really gains or loses anything if that fight happens. Like, nah, let's just move on. Let's just have Jon fight the winner of Stipe and Ngannou too, and then, let Izzy keep doing his thing in middleweight.
Yeah, I mean, like at that point, 205 is like now that Jon doesn't have the belt, the weigh-in of 205 pounds is irrelevant.
Mm.
So now it doesn't even make sense to do it at, like, if you wanted two fighters to just meet for a one-off, you would do something like a catch weight.
Yeah,
like one fighter, like 195.
Yeah.
Right? It makes no sense strategically anymore for Adesanya to agree to 205. Doesn't. Now that a belt's not on the line, what really, other than another scalp.
There's such a size discrepancy, like to the level of which I'm like it's off-putting. Like, yeah, I don't know, especially with Jon being the grappler versus Izzy being a striker. Like, I don't know.
I mean, that's what I fully expect we would see.
Of course, Jon's not going to send him a strike. Let me just take him down.
No. Yeah, man. It's we will be sitting here one day talking about Saturday's main event of Adesanya Jones.
Mm.
But let's pump the brakes. Let's let them do what they're going to do. And not today. I'm not super interested in it right this second.